Hi, my name is Brenda Titus and welcome to my video series, My Year Recovering from Retinal Detachment. This is the 12th in the video series, and today we will begin discussing the second retinal detachment that I experienced only 6 months after my initial retinal detachment. If you haven't seen my previous videos, I definitely recommend that you go back and begin at the beginning of the series. It'll help because I will be talking about referring back to those videos when we talk about signs, symptoms, challenges of getting treatment. But I will be very specifically talking about this second detachment. And so it will help for you to go back and start at the beginning. Now, as a reminder, this is my personal journey. I'm sharing it for informational purposes to be able to help people, and especially people who are going through this or people who care about them. And it in no way is meant to take the place of getting medical attention or medical advice. So if you need a doctor or you're having any signs or symptoms of retinal detachment, definitely recommend that you go and get that medical attention as soon as possible. Now, number 12. So on prior videos, I mentioned I was getting my life back and I had gone on a trip to Europe. And it was a wonderful trip. I was very happy. I was feeling very proud of myself for having overcome the first retinal detachment and all of the challenges associated with it. We had several days in Paris that we actually did, and they were incredible. And we began a tour of France. We joined the group and we began this adventure, this tour, and we were on a bus, and we made it through two days. And while we were at one of the stops, I actually noticed some birds, and I noticed them flying in the sky. And it was true for people who've seen the signs and symptoms, that one of the things that I had noticed is that, floaters, which is an important sign and symptom of retinal detachment, floaters can sometimes seem like birds flying in the sky. And so they'd startle me occasionally. I would say to my husband, those are birds, right? And he would say, yes, those are birds. Okay, good. Okay. So, and of course, it never occurred to us that I could have a retinal detachment a second time, especially so soon after the first one. But so, we continued on, and the next day we had a day at the beach. And so we just enjoyed this, here we are in south of France, and this, lovely day at the beach. And I noticed something that was not birds. It was floaters. And so I was a little bit more sensitive, a little bit more aware of the fact that, that seemed concerning, and I just kind of needed to be keeping an eye on it. There I go with that metaphor. We'll keep an eye on it. So I continued through my day, and there weren't a lot of floaters. It wasn't, a huge thing to be alarmed by. And so we had a nice day. And the next morning, as I got up, I started getting a little bit more nervous, and I noticed kind of just a little bit of a haze in my lower vision. And that was one of the signs that I experienced in my prior retinal detachment. And so actually that was a bigger sign to me that I was concerned about. And so I kind of, moved through the day. We got on our tour bus to make it to the next stop. We had a nice time at the next stop. I can tell looking at the pictures, I was a little bit more careful with my sunglasses. I wore a hat that day, which I hadn't really been doing as much. And I think I was just being very more careful about, recognizing changes in my vision. And so, as I had that, like I said, it was just like a little bit of a shadow in the lower part of my vision. And honestly, it wasn't terribly alarming. But we got on the bus and I started getting nervous. And, and I talk all the time about, good, healthy fear. And, fear has an important job. Fear is there to keep us safe. And I was scared. I thought, oh my gosh, what if I am having a retinal detachment? That I need to get attention as soon as possible. And I knew that we were about to go to a city that at least would have a hospital. And so I started kind of looking on the tour bus, and I called up to the tour director. And well, actually, first I looked at my husband and I said, I think we should go to the hospital. And that was it was sad. It was hard. It was hard for me to come to the decision to say it, and it was hard to see his reaction because, I mean, but the truth is, if I, it's kind of one of those things, too much fear and unnecessary fear and ill-informed fear, that's when that's not what we call unbeneficial fear, right? We're just too scared. But I really had, I kind of thought, well, I would rather err on the side of, oh, we got medical attention and I was wrong. And like I said, I'd had enough kind of symptoms and concern that I thought I should get checked out. So we called ahead to the tour director and said, we think that we need to go to the hospital. And we explained what the situation was, and he started working on it on the drive to the next town. And it turned out, and this is really important part of the story, is that, I mentioned in a very early one of my videos that how quickly people can get medical attention will vary depending on your location, how far away there you are from specialists, and of course access to health insurance and and all of those things. So here I was in another country and I did not know their system. And it actually was very interesting. I mean, in the end, so he did research, and based on the situation that they have in France, and especially in the south of France where we were, he said that I couldn't go to a regular emergency room. He actually told me that I would need to take a taxi to another town about an hour from where the tour was going. So we would be taking a taxi to this other town to see an eye doctor, an ophthalmologist, and that would be the next step that I would have to take. So I said, okay, and we took the taxi and we make it to the ophthalmologist, and it's right pretty much towards the end of their business day, maybe 5 p.m. or so. And she goes through all the steps, and she says, I'm really sorry, but the retina is detached. And that was, it was very sad. It was a hard moment. We had our luggage already, that we kind of said, well, we'll take our luggage with us in case we really do truly have to, get medical attention. And so we sat there in the ophthalmologist's office in Toulouse, France, and she said, okay, here's what we're going to do. And she set up a referral for me to go to the hospital. Now, I had a very particular hospital that I needed to go to, and so she said, okay, there'll be go to such and such hospital, go at such and such time. And so we got another taxi and we started driving to this hospital. And the taxi driver said, well, there's emergency rooms with less wait time. Why are, you should go to this other place. And we said, no, we've been given a particular referral. They're expecting us, and, and all of that. interestingly enough, it turned out that, I mean, this hospital was incredible. So they actually had a emergency room for eyes. So they literally had an ocular, I think that's the right word, a vision emergency room. And that, I mean, I'm very impressed by that. Now, I do believe that it's a teaching hospital, so that could be part of why. But that was, it was really neat having been through what we'd already been through. And so we did have to wait quite a bit of time. It turned out that there was kind of the daytime emergency room, and then there was the nighttime emergency room, and we had gotten there kind of right in that in between time. So, but we did get in line, and we got seen, and they did things very differently at this hospital. First, it was actually they used a kind of like a magnifying glass that he literally stuck right into my eye, which was shocking to me. Apparently, I learned that some countries they do it that way. It was a very weird feeling, but they did say, okay, you need to have surgery. We've been through this before. You need to have surgery as soon as possible. So come back in the morning and come back with, having fasted, and they'll decide what to do with you. Now, this is important for those who've seen the earlier videos, that this surgery is going to require a gas bubble in my eye that is going to mean I will not be able to fly for several weeks. So this was a big turn of events. It was very distressing, very scary, very upsetting, and we went. My husband had arranged a hotel room for us for the next several days, so that we could figure out what we were going to do, and so we made it to our hotel and had some food, and I started calling my family to notify them, and tell them what was going on, and to cry and have all the hard feelings associated with the challenges that we were dealing with. And so I think I'm going to leave us there for now, and I will share on the next video kind of our experience at the hospital the next day. So I thank you for joining me for this adventure. It helps that I can smile about it, and actually that I can share. And so I appreciate you joining me for this. I really hope that you're able to learn some things along the way, and I hope that you're enjoying my journey, and hopefully it's informational for you. So thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time. Have a great day.